Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday's Book Mail Unboxing Live. We gather here every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I've saved all my book mail for the week that I've received, and we unbox it together live. So you get to see what I get in my book mail in real time. But more importantly, this is just an opportunity for us to gather, to talk about the week, what we've been reading, what we've been doing, and just kind of get caught up and squared away. I will also share just some news, anything new content-wise, life-wise, and everything with you. So yes, that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, so I have 2, 4, 6, 8 packages to open live today. So we're going to just jump right into it. But before I do that, I have to tell you, I have an exciting series I'm starting on YouTube this week. Okay, so starting Monday, I'm going to be doing a Book of the Week spotlight. So I'll be doing a video talking about one book I've read and loved, and I'll tell you everything about it, what the book does well, and obviously recommend it to you. I'm also going to be doing an author series. So each week I'll be sharing with you, hey, here's this author. If you've been interested in reading them, this is where you should start. And I'll give you different starting points based on mood and theme and just all the vibes. So I think that will kind of help you get into this book and this author if you're interested. So it's going to be a 3-part series. So we really break it down and it's going to be lots of fun. The first week is this coming week. So if you're watching this live, you can watch the series. So we're going to do some contemporary literature and some classic literature. We're going to be starting with some classics, but it's also going to be lots of fun. So yeah, you have that to look forward to. But we are here for book mail, yeah? So let's just get into our book mail packages. So I'm going to open this one first. But let me know in the comments where you're watching from live, and also what have you been reading? What are you doing? Where you're watching from? What's the weather like where you are? Okay, I'm really excited about this book. Okay, really excited because I haven't read it, and I was in love with the previous book. So this is entitled The Last Session by Julia Bartz. Now, Julia Bartz is the author who wrote The Writing Retreat last go round. And then I found out, because I was interviewing her sister, Andrea Bartz, that they're actually related. Don't ask me why, but in the middle of the interview, I was like, hold on a second, last name. And she shared that they're sisters. So that was interesting. But anyway, so The Last Session, Julia Bartz, the summary inside says, welcome to the Center for Relational Healing, where a weekend getaway will change your life for better or for worse. Ooh, this is interesting. So a woman shows up at her psychiatric unit. A social worker swears that she knows her from somewhere. She's shocked to discover the patient holds a link to a traumatic time in her own past. Upon becoming lucid, the patient claims she can't remember the events that caused her brain to shut down. The social worker is at loss when the patient gets ripped away from her, and she's determined to find her. So this sounds very interesting. So she's going there, and she's probably going to end up in a place where she's going to have to go through a session. So this is really interesting. The Last Session by Julia Bartz. So that is book 1. I'm really thrilled to get a copy of that one because, again, I read Julia Bartz's first book, read it, loved it, recommended it in one of my reading guides. I think it was either the winter or spring guide. I'm thinking it was the spring guide the year that one came out, which, again, if you're new to Biblio Lifestyle and the community, you can access the backlog of all my seasonal guides over on Substack. And then you can just download them to your devices. So you can have that PDF magazine and get some book recommendations whenever you're ready. Okay, let's get into the next package. Whoops. Ooh, all right. So this one, Blood Beneath the Snow by Alexandra Kennington. Okay. Nice cover, and it's hardback. It doesn't have like the dust jacket. Interesting. And on the cover it says, "Fate is thicker than blood." All right. So on the back it says, "A heart-pounding romantasy following a rebellious princess who must fight her brothers to the death, while also battling her feelings for her country's most powerful enemy." Oh, interesting. So this is a debut novel by author Alexandra Kennington. Interesting. But anyway, looks cute. I'll read more about it and I'll report back. Okay, so I'm gonna get in some more packages. But weekend update. What have you been doing this weekend? You all know my weekends are pretty routine. You know, you recharge, you reset, you do chores, you get ready for the week ahead. I noticed some it might sound boring, but you know what? I love my routine. However, yesterday I did things drastically different from my usual routine. So you remember that YouTube series I told you before that will be dropping this week, something new I'm starting. Okay. So I was busy working on that yesterday, which was very different from my routine. So I went to my exercise class, worked on the videos, and then something also different from my routine is I go to this exercise class and they were having a get together. Now, normally they'd have different get togethers at different times. It just really didn't work out for me. And honestly, in the beginning, when I just joined, I didn't feel comfortable, going out with them just yet. You know, it's a new group and just everything. But anyways, I've been going to this class for like a year and a half now. Very much comfortable with the crew. I meet different people at different class times. So I have friends at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. So anyway, long story short, we went to a brewery yesterday and it was a fun time. And it wasn't just people from our location and our specific, it was the entire location. They have a bunch of classes. So I met some new people and also from a different location as well. So it was really lots of fun kind of going out to the brewery. I expended a lot of extroverted energy. So today we're replenishing. And as always, I have laundry running. And I made this strawberry cake, fresh strawberry cake. My husband loves it. He's a tough critic. Look, he'll eat, my cakes and my bakes, but he's a tough critic. And I love that because if he says it's good, I know it's good. And he's like, nope, this is a keeper. Write it down. He saw me kind of making notes and stuff. And he's like, nope, it's a keeper. Write it down. So I'm really pleased with it. It's a good one. It's a winner. Yes. So I did that today and I have my last load of laundry drying. So that's the weekend. When I hop off here, I'm going to go lounge on the couch and read. I was watching something before I came on here, and I'll tell you that in the next break. But I just unpackaged our next book. This one is entitled Early 30s. Oh, yeah, that's just okay, that's the title. Early 30s. And this is by Josh Duboff. Interesting cover. Love it. I love how it's like early 30s, and I can tell like that's a couch. I mean, they're probably home because, yeah, that's kind of what you start doing when you're in your 30s. Like in your 20s, you're on the road like a mad person. In your 30s, you start kind of taking it in. By your 40s, you're inviting everyone over for things. I'll report back when we get to 50s. But anyway, for early 30s, the blurb inside says, sometimes friendship can be its own love story. And that is something I believe. But hold on, let me read the end. It says, an immersive, hilarious, and heartbreaking story. This debut novel is about best friendship, finding yourself, and realizing that growing up has as much to do with the person you were as it does with the person you're desperately trying to become. So it's realizing that growing up has as much to do with the person you were as it does with the person you're desperately trying to become. I think that is also an important reminder. I mean, it really is. Now, here's the thing. I often had a theory, and I had this like with my best friends. I had best friends from backtrack. I had friends like, when you're at the primary school age and then you get to high school, like I still have some of those friends, but I have to be honest and say like most of like the friends that are really hardcore, like we're tight, tend to be the friends you meet after uni, like when you're in a working world, because you kind of start to figure out who you are and whatever. But I remember saying to some of them girls, and I said it to even my high school friends as well, that sometimes I feel soulmates and what did the book say? Sometimes friendship can be its own love story. Yeah. For me, sometimes I feel your soulmate is not necessarily a partner. Like it can be your best friend. And it doesn't mean like you need to be in a relationship with that person. It just means, the friendship that you have, like that feels more soulmatey sometimes than your partner. Like I believe like things like that are very possible. Now I got fortunate with my now husband, so he's for sure my soulmate. But I felt before like even in other relationships, like my friendships, like my friends, like your friends can be your soulmates. I'm just saying you can also make a retirement plan with your friends. Okay, that is something I endorse 100%. Just saying. But anyway, that's Early 30s by Josh Duboff. Okay, let's open this box. Get my scissors for this. But yeah, I'm serious. I take friendship very seriously. I do. And I have friends for many, many, many years and many decades, you know. I do. Okay. Let's see what's in this one. Let's see. A lot of paper. Okay, what do we have in here? Oh, we have a cute children's book. Oh, so cute. Okay, so this one is entitled "Oh So Sleepy Head to Wait." Oh So Sleepy Head to Toe. Oh So Sleepy Head to Toe. Oh, it's one of those touch and feel books. It's so cute. Hold on, touch and feel. Okay. Oh, it's cool. So you see, like the little cutouts here. Yeah, this is cute. I love this. Touch and feel. Okay, on the back it says, the animal friends are getting ready for bed. Can you help them get cozy and calm? Cuddle up with your little one as they put baby animals to bed in this sweet sensory bedtime book, perfect for calming down after a busy day. I love this. So, so cute. Oh, look at the inside. So it's like, it really is like a touch and feel book as you go. So the animal friends. Oh, I love these feelings. Oh, and it's so different. So I think this is like a good sensory book for the littles. I love it. I love it. Okay. Oh, so sleepy head to toe. It's a scholastic. Yeah, it's a scholastic book. Illustrations, though, are by Maria Gabriela Gama. Cute. 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 Okay, we're going to open some more book mail packages, but we're going to take a pause. Before I hopped on here, I was watching the women's basketball national championship thing. It was Connecticut and South Carolina. Is that it? Oh my gosh. Right before I hopped in here, it was running away. The game was running away. So it's looking like Connecticut is going to win. And then I heard that they're going to do something with the guys. So we'll learn more about the guy version soon. Okay, so let's open this package. Oh, I also heard White Lotus, like it's ending this weekend. My friend Laura was saying, I think the finale, if it wasn't yesterday, it's today or something. I don't remember. But I was kind of planning to wait to binge it. So now all the episodes will be out. So maybe I'll binge it, you know, this weekend, next weekend or something. Definitely not this weekend. I have books to read. Okay, summer reading guide is coming. It's coming. But anyway, let's get into this package. What have y'all been watching or doing this weekend? Now y'all heard where I went yesterday, what I'm doing, the regular stuff, then also the new stuff. Oh, this is cute. Question, wasn't this book out for some time? I kind of remember this book. Hold. Yeah, I think this is the first book. And yeah, there's another book coming out by this author. So maybe that's why they're sending me the first book, because I'm like, I know this book. Okay, so the book in the package is An Enchanting Case of Spirits. Okay, An Enchanting Case of Spirits by Melissa Holtz. Okay, cute. Y'all might recognize this too, because this one has been out. I love how on the cover it says Ghost Night Out. So, you know, you have like these gals sitting there and it's like Ghost Night Out. So anyway, on the back it says, when a 40th birthday celebration leads to a ghostly visitor, three friends find themselves navigating surprising mysteries and spiritual hijinks. Okay, this is interesting. Now, again, I think this author has another book coming out, which is why I'm being sent this one. So anyways, exciting things, exciting things. Okay, let's open another package and then, do I have anything else to tell you all? Hold on, let me think. Ooh, oh nice. Okay, this is cute. Okay, so the next book is The Family Recipe by Carolyn who I don't know how you pronounce this. Carolyn, I don't know. But anyway, The Family Recipe. So this author wrote The Fortunes of Jaded Women. I remember that book. Wasn't that book selected like for a book club or something, like a Good Morning America something? I think so. But anyway, this one is entitled The Family Recipe. And the blurb inside says, a stunning family dramedy about estranged siblings competing to inherit their father's Vietnamese sandwich franchise and unravel family mysteries. Okay. So they're competing to inherit their father's Vietnamese sandwich franchise and unravel family secrets. Okay, so at the bottom it says it's about rediscovering one's roots, different types of fatherly love, legacy, and finding a place in a divided country where the only commonality among your neighbors is the universal love of sandwiches. Okay, okay, the family recipe. And you know what? That is often very true, mind you. Like people are divided on so many things. I mean, hello, just existing in this world. Okay. It's so incredibly divided. But I do agree, sometimes food is one of the few things we can all commune around. Okay. We can debate how sweet or how spicy or whatever something is, but I think we can commune over food. I actually think, you know what? Okay, this is going on a completely different tangent, but I'm just going to say maybe if when world leaders were gathering and meeting and stuff like that, maybe if they did that over food, maybe it wouldn't be in as much of a dumpster fire as it feels sometimes. You know what I mean? Like just make sure everyone is full, eat some good food, have some desserts, have pudding, have coffee, tea, because we don't want them to get sloshed. Okay. Let's avoid that part. However, maybe if they have some food, maybe things wouldn't be so bad. You know what I mean? But anyway, okay, let's open another package. But let me know in the comments, again, what have you all been watching or doing or reading or whatever this weekend? I mean, I'd love to hear from you all as well. But in the meantime, let's figure out how I open this package. Okay, let's do it this way and see what happens. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. So this one is entitled Beautiful Chaos by Jessica Ehrlich. It says on motherhood, finding yourself and overwhelming love. Okay. So this is a poetry collection. Okay. Beautiful Chaos. It says, wherever you are on your parenting journey, so this is a parenting poetry collection. Wherever you are in your parenting journey, Jess's poems will make you feel seen and comforted amid the beautiful chaos that is motherhood. All right. So I'm going to open the last package and then I'm going to do a recap of all the books that I received this week in this week's book mail. If you have any questions, now's a great time to pop them in the comments. If you have anything you want to share, again, another great opportunity to pop them in the comments so I can get to answering and we can get to chatting a little bit. And otherwise, I'm gonna hop off of here and get my laundry squared away, relax, and just take in the last few hours of the Sunday eve before we have to go to bed and get ready for the week ahead. Okay. Ooh, all right. So the book I just received is entitled Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This is a Vancouver Storm novel. A Vancouver Storm novel. Okay. There we go. Behind the Net. Stephanie's also the author of The Fake Out and The Wingman. Okay. So on the back, the summary says, he's the hot hockey player she's had a crush on in high school, and she's his new live-in assistant. In this tension-filled hockey romance from the author of The Fake Out and The Wingman. So she must take a risk in love or leave him out on the ice, okay? So there's a hockey player, a gal who's had a crush on him in high school. She's his new live-in assistant, and it's a tension-filled hockey romance. Okay, so that's Behind the Net. Okay, so now I'm just sorting the books to kind of go in order in the way I open the packages today, just to kind of share a wrap-up with you of all the books I received from this week in book mail. But before I do the wrap-up, I want to share with you real quick, I'm really excited for this new YouTube series coming at you this week. In case you're just joining me, it's going to be a book of the week. So I'm going to spotlight one book of the week. I'm essentially pitching it to you and telling you why it's the one standout book for the week. So that's going to be a weekly series dropping every Monday. And then every Tuesday for 3 days, we're going to do a where to start reading blank author. So if there's an author out there, we're going to work with the classics first, full disclosure. because those authors are no longer with us and their works are, for the most part complete, unless an estate publishes something and then I'm like, okay, let's read it and revisit it. However, I'm essentially going to guide you. So I'm going to say, look, if you're in the mood for this, this is for you. Or if this is the vibe you're looking for, this is where you should start. So one of the videos dropping on Tuesday is going to say, here are 3 different starting points based on what you're hoping for in the novel. So I'm going to give you different entry points. I'm also going to be ranking some of these authors' books as well. And I'm also going to tell you like some of the commonalities between their books and why they stand out and all these different things. So we're going to be doing that every week. It's going to be a series. Okay, so that's something you can look forward to here on the YouTube channel. But also, you're still going to get like all your bookish news and your updates and, announcements and all the things. So you're still going to get all of that content. It's just that this content is more consistent. It's something I can plan in advance. And it's also something where we can learn and discuss and also talk about it in the comments. Because let's be real, where I think you should start, you might be like, hey, V, I read this. And I'm like, no, this is a better fit for this one. But I'm really excited to get into these mood recommendations, starting points to kind of help readers out, because there is no shame if you haven't read these authors yet. You know what I mean? Because I've heard so many times from readers, oh, I've been meaning to read this, or oh, I've been meaning to read that, and so on. And here's the thing, there's so many books, so little time. So I'm also going to give you the best books that you should read. So like, here's the thing, skip the rest of these, but make sure you read these. So also when you go to a dinner party, sometimes, okay, you never know when, you never know, life might throw this one at you. Like these are like the big themes and big conversation starters with these books, because here's the other thing. When you talk to people often enough, you realize they're all harping on 9 out of 10 times about the same things. You know what I mean? So yeah. All right, so look out for that this week on the channel. Again, follow me on Substack, subscribe to my newsletter so you can get roundups of content that we're sharing other places and all the things. And I think that's it for plugs. All right, I'll be sharing my fresh strawberry cake. I mean, it's a banger, okay? I'll probably share something on the YouTube community page or Facebook or something. The cake was a banger. It was good. You know how sometimes when you use fresh fruit, sometimes the things kind of, get either soggy or it's just, no, this is firm. And again, strawberries are on sale everywhere, but again, it depends on where you're living. Okay, so let's get into the recap of this week's book mail. So the first book I received was The Last Session by Julia Bartz. This one is sounding like a thriller. Welcome to the Center for Relational Healing, where a weekend getaway will change your life forever, for better or for worse. Really excited about this Julia Bartz. Again, I read her previous book, The Writing Retreat, so I have high hopes for this one. Then we received Blood Beneath the Snow by Alexandra Hennington. This one says it's a heart-pounding romantasy following a rebellious princess who must fight her brother to the death, all right, while battling her feelings for her country's most powerful enemy. This is also a debut novel. Then we have Early 30s by Josh Duboff. This one says sometimes friendship can be its own love story. This one is hilarious, heartbreaking, and it's about best friendship, finding yourself, and realizing that growing up has as much to do with the person you were as much as the person you're trying to become. All right. We have this cutesy little children's book. Okay. It's entitled Oh So Sleepy Head to Toe. Oh So Sleepy Head to Toe. Sorry. And it has like all these little, fuzzy feelings. They're all different textures. And throughout the book, as you're reading, like you and your littles can have like that sensory experience. Because all the touchy-feely parts have different textures. So it's really dynamic. And I'm excited to actually read and feel the contents as I go along as well. And I have some littles in a family to gift it to. All right, next up is An Enchanting Case of Spirits by Melissa Holtz. And it says, when a 40th birthday celebration leads to a ghostly visitor, 3 friends find themselves navigating surprising mysteries and spiritual hijinks. And then we have The Family Recipe by Carolyn Hun. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I'm sorry. This author is also the author of The Fortunes of Jaded Women. And this one says it's a family dramedy about estranged siblings competing to inherit their father's Vietnamese sandwich franchise and unravel family mysteries. And then we have Beautiful Chaos by Jessica Ehrlich. This is a poetry collection on motherhood, finding yourself, and overwhelming love. And this one, it says that wherever you are in your parenting journey, these poems will make you feel seen and comforted along your motherhood journey. And finally, we have Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. It's a Vancouver Storm novel. All right. And it says there's a hot hockey player a gal has had a crush on in high school. She is now his new live-in assistant. And this is a tension-filled hockey romance. And she must decide whether to take a risk in love or leave him on the ice. This author is also the author of The Fake Out and The Wingman. So again, hockey romance if you're looking for one. So that's it for this week's book mail unboxing. I see everyone is quiet in the chat. So there are not much questions or things to talk about today. I will say, again, I'm really excited for this week's new content. So keep an eye out for that. Substack is a changing, okay? It's changing. It's becoming a whole social media platform, it seems. But I do write a newsletter over there. So be sure to subscribe to check that out. Again, when you're on the list and you get the stuff, you get to read it, the free ones. However, as time goes by, it gets archived. So if you want to be in the know, if you want to get the latest, subscribe to Substack. And yeah, I think that's it. Again, look out this week for all the content series I was telling you about. Oh, I also watched a book adaptation. So that review is coming up. I went to the cinema as well. I forgot to mention that as well as a part of the weekend roundup. Went to the cinema and I watched The Friend. So The Friend is an adaptation of Sigrid Nunez's novel of the same name. I think that book came out around 2018. I think it also won the National Book Award for Fiction that year. So, yeah, big adaptation. Hi, Dee Dee. So nice to see you on this Saturday. No, today's not Saturday, Sunday. I'm a whole mess. Nice to see you on this Sunday. But yes, I watched The Friend. I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts. I read the book, and I read the book, I think, the following year. I think it was 2019 when it came out in paperback. And I had shared my review on Instagram. I found that review, and I was like, I remember these feelings. I went to the cinema and I watched the movie, and I will say the same way in my 2019 book review online, I had said, I don't think this book is for everyone. I'm going to say the same thing for the movie. I don't think this movie is for everyone. All right. It isn't. It's not for everyone. But I have some thoughts. So I'll be sharing that review as well. I also shared my review on Snow White. So if you missed that one, check that out. I also watched another movie, not an adaptation, but it was quite a ride. It was called, what does he call it? Death of a Unicorn. There you go. I think the next adaptation I'm going to watch is The Amateur. So we'll see how that one goes and I'll report back. Dee Dee says, well, first Dee Dee says, nice to see you. Yes, friend, everyone. Dee Dee has a channel, Brown Girl Reading. Be sure to check that one out too. Dee Dee says, haven't read the book, but I think I will, and then go to see the film. Yeah, here's the thing. I personally love the book. So I think definitely read the book first, see how you feel about it, because again, I just remember people being so divided about that. And I shared that on my other Instagram account when I was reviewing books, and people were divided. And I actually remembered that. And then when I revisited the review, I remember kind of essentially in my review fighting for the novel and saying, it is one of those books. It's not about the plot. It's about the character and the journey she is on. Okay. There are some changes, obviously, because this is going to be on screen. I think I need to revisit it before I even do a differences video, because while I remember the meat of it, as I was watching the film, I'm like, okay, clearly there are some differences there. So I need to revisit it for the differences. But the one thing that stood out to me is in the novel, we had an unnamed narrator. Obviously, in the movie, they're going to give the gal a name. So they gave the girl a name. So that was also interesting. And there are a few things, obviously, they took creative freedom with. So, yeah, that's a whole thing. Didi says, maybe it's too quiet. It's always hard for me, it's hard to do what do you call it, a character driven story in a movie where it's not about the plot, meaning it's not about, in this case, it's like what's going to happen with the dog. That's a whole thing, like what is going to happen to the dog. But the show isn't about what's going to happen to the dog, which, by the way, okay, can we comment on dogs being actors? Because the dog was, in my opinion, like the dog was amazing. Like, do dogs get awards for roles in film? Because I think the dog, the way it was, how the dog did it, I don't know how to describe it. Or is it the cinematographer? It was very interesting. Didi says people don't like character-driven novels as much as plot-driven ones. Exactly. But I am a character-driven girly. Like, I don't need a destination to get to. I don't need definitiveness. I don't need a plan. And I think the reason I gravitate towards character-driven novels is because the longer you've been on this earth, and I know I have a lot more to learn yet, but what I've learned so far is you can plan all you want, life is going to happen. And I think that's what happens with character-driven novels. It's not about the plot, it's about you just navigating life. So that's just that's my thing. So I don't think this book, number one, is for everyone, but I also don't think this movie is for everyone either. I really don't. I will say that was my first book by that author. That was my very first Sigrid Nunez book. And ever since then, it's like I've been reading everything she's written since. I had gone back to a previous book, I think it was called Myths or something. And I was trying to find some of her other books, but I didn't find it. I don't remember what happened. But long story short is, if she has a book out, I am buying it. I am reading it. Didi says, I saw the dog on The View. Cute. Every time the audience applauded, the dog jumped up. Listen, if there is some award for animals, that dog deserved it. I didn't see the dog on The View. I didn't see the dog on social media or anything. I just went to the cinema. I went blind. And obviously I read the book, but meaning I didn't read or take in or watch any press. I just went straight to the cinema and I was like, okay, let's watch this. I was very impressed with the dog, like very, very impressed. I think the dog outdid the folks. Can I say? Bill Murray is in it. And Bill Murray's character is like, okay. The woman was played by Naomi Watts. She was all right too, but I think the dog stole the show. It's one of those things where I felt like it's all about the dog and the humans are just like accessories. And I also feel the same way. It's like we, the humans are being invited to this dog's wealth. I think the dog did an amazing job. Listen, girl, if you have it on Kindle, read the book. Is it here? I thought I brought it in here. I'll probably put it back on the shelf. It was my first book. I love the book. I thought it was great. But if you don't like character-driven stories, stay far away. But stay tuned. I'm going to record. I haven't done the recording yet, but I am going to record a review about the movie. I'll just do the movie and then I'll revisit the book and then I'll do differences between the book and the movie because I need to reread it. I have to be honest. But I will say the book was an unnamed narrator. The movie, obviously, we have a name. So I think it's Iris. Her name was Iris. But yeah, so that was my weekend. That's all the happenings. We had an outing, went to a brewery. It was really nice. Made fresh strawberry cake. My husband says it's a banger. So I'm writing down that recipe on my recipe card because I'm not going to remember this after a bit. We have laundry. We're going to go grab in a second and hop off here. I'm going to unwind, read something. I don't think I'm reading anything. Well, I might read that Julia Bart's book because I love Julia Bart's. So, yeah, so I think we might visit that. But again, I'm going live this week with my friends, Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time. So be sure to catch us. We're going to be doing some book recommendations. Next week, we'll do our gossip session live. It's not this week, it's next week. So we're collecting the news and we'll report the news to you all next week, and just petty drama as always. What else is going on? I think that's it. So just subscribe to Substack so you're always in the know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can join in and share your thoughts on my new series. I'm really excited about it. Again, was working on it yesterday just to get everything ready for you all this week. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So anyways, thanks as always for joining me live. Again, if you're new here, I go live every Sunday. I save up my book mail. We unbox it 5 p.m. Eastern time. And during the week, I'll pop in live. It's usually around 12 noon Eastern time. Okay, so subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know what's new and when I go live. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.